Okay, so we are going to be talking about how you are going to be making $100,000 in 2026. That's this year. But I'm going to be honest with you, you're making it too hard. And so in this video, I really want to unpack why you're making it so hard and how we can make it easier so that you can actually reach your goals. Now, before diving into the rest of this video, I really wanted to introduce the sponsor of today's video, which is Brevo. Brevo is an amazing platform, and one of the things I love most about them is the idea of converting a person you've already connected to, so like a lead, into a paying client. So if you are somebody who is working with clients or you're wanting to work with clients, even if it's, a membership, anything that you're wanting to take somebody from maybe your content and turn them into a paying customer or client, then Brevo has the features for you. So not only do they have an entire backend that you can use, but they also have automatic features like SMS, which is text message. So you could post a piece of content and trigger an automation where they're actually getting text messages from you, which is crazy. And you can also do the same thing with email. So if you are wanting to take content creation, freelancing, any kind of client work seriously in 2026, if that's going to be part of how you are making money this year, then you need to check out Brevo. You can actually get a discount using my link in the description. I'll also have it as the first pinned comment. So make sure to check out that link and make sure to use my promo. All the information will be below. So hitting 100K in your business is not this scary, impossible thing that sometimes the internet makes you believe. It is a huge number. And I will say I did hit $100,000 in my business last year. However, that is revenue, not take home. Had a lot of expenses. I pay people. I have a lot of subscription services. I've also taken multiple courses and different things like that. So take home was probably more in like the $65,000 to $70,000 range, but that is fully working for myself. And that's pretty impressive. I'll let you in on a little secret. The thing standing between you and this level of success is not your idea. It's not your niche, and it's not your timing. It's because you're doing too much. Like, that's legitimately the reason you're not being successful. You're either not doing anything or you're doing too much. If you're anything like me, I have been doing this a while, and even still, like even in 2025, I was adding too much to my plate. I was trying new platforms. I was adding new products or services. I was just constantly adding more to what I was already doing, thinking that is how I was going to make more money. More revenue streams, more products, more this, more that. And it was at the end of the year last year, probably around November, that I realized that is the exact wrong thing to do. So let me give you a couple of real life examples from myself. So first, let's talk about Whatnot. Have you heard of this app? It's called Whatnot. It's live auctions. You can just like sell products on there, but it's all like reselling. That's pretty much all it is. People resell vintage decor or clothing. They do new with tags like liquidation sales. People sell all sorts of things. Candy, like they box up tons of candy and ship it to you. So literally anything you could possibly sell, you could sell on Whatnot doing these live auctions. I discovered the app. I think I just got advertised for the app on Instagram, and I was like, what is this? And I just have this like need to discover and learn more, especially when it comes to making money online and starting a business. I have to know. So I downloaded the app, and instead of turning it into a business, I became a shopaholic, and I bought a lot of clothes because I was just intrigued that I could get these like name brand clothes for like $5 or less. And also just a lot of new with tags from Target. And I was just like, man, this is the way to do it. So I became a little mini shopaholic on Whatnot. And then I was like, you know what? I need to take a step back from buying, and I want to do this. I was excited. I told my mom about the app. She downloaded it. She loved it. And I was like, Mom, what if we started our own store here and we sold things live? She was down. So I bought a big pallet of clothes, new with tags, liquidation from Target. And it was so exciting. The pallet got delivered. It was so fun looking through all of these clothes. But then the fear and the nerves set in. 6 months went by. I mean, I've had these since like mid-year last year, and months went by, and they were just sitting in my office, in my closet. And, I just sat on them and never did it. Finally did just like a few weeks ago. My mom and I started our store. It's called Thrifting It Forward. Just, finding cool things and, paying it forward to other people. And guess what? I finally sold every single one of those items, but it took me 6 months because I just jumped the gun and I got too excited and I added something to my plate that I wasn't ready for. Now, I'm glad I did it in the long run because this is a really fun thing for my mom and I to do. And we have been making some money. I think in 3 shows, we made $600, and that's amazing. And I did it on something else too. I was using Flowdesk for the longest time, and I'm not using it anymore either way. But I heard about Substack, and Substack is hot right now. If you have not heard about it, you're going to. People are posting on Substack like crazy. It's essentially email marketing, but a paid platform. Like you can give things for free, but essentially it's like a subscription. And with that, you get to see all of their content, which is kind of like blog journal style email marketing type of vibe. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I'm done with actual email marketing. I'm switching over to Substack. Posted one thing. I got some hits on it, some views. I didn't like charge for it or anything. And I was like, what am I doing? Why am I adding another thing to my plate? And so yeah, that didn't last, canceled it, and still decided not to go back to Flowdesk, again, with the idea of simplifying. I already use Stan Store for selling digital products, and I'm like, okay, if I want to send an email, I'll just do it through there. I have my YouTube, I have my Instagram, I have Stan. I was like, I don't need an email marketing focused platform. So anyway, Substack was a small example, but an example of me getting excited about a new platform I found, it being like a new hot thing, and me being like, I have to be there. And I just don't have to be there. Like, I need to focus. And at this point, too, when I started the Substack, I hadn't posted on YouTube in months. And I'm like, I can't even post on my own YouTube channel. Why am I starting these new things? Which really is like my husband's voice inside my head because he tells me that all the time. What finally really did it for me is I got an overdraft fee in my business bank account because all of these subscriptions were coming out and I didn't even remember having most of them. Maybe I signed up for a free trial and it ended and it charged me and I wasn't aware. Maybe it was something like Flowdesk, and then I'm, signing up for this and signing up for that. And all of a sudden, I'm having all these things, these fees coming out of my bank. And I'm like, what in the world? I have negative something in my business bank account right now. That is bad. To know how much money I made last year and how much I have in my bank account right now is very concerning. And it's because I am just an excited person and I get really excited about all these new possible revenue streams and directions I could go to in my business. And what I'm now realizing is I'm really hurting the business models I've already created that are working by doing this and pouring all this money into things that I really don't need to be doing. I instead should focus on the things I know work and make those even better so that I can increase my revenue that way. So that's when the light bulb finally went off, and really what we're talking about today, which is the whole phrase, which we've all heard before, less is more. And I truly believe the less you do in your business, the more money you're going to make. And I know that sounds crazy and you might need to test this theory for yourself, but I truly believe the less I do in this business, the more money I am going to make in the long run. The point I want to make right now is planning versus procrastinating. When you're saying that you're preparing or you're planning for something, most of the time it's actually procrastination. And so we need to make sure we're telling the difference between actual required preparation for something like writing the outline versus writing 8 outlines before you record one video, right? Because that's me procrastinating. And, same with a lot of other areas in my business. I already have a digital product. I actually have a new membership called the Digital Cafe that I'm really excited about. I have all these things already going on, and I'm not doing anything to promote them because I'm not posting on YouTube because I'm procrastinating. And I think when I realized that and I was able to accept it for myself, that's when I was really able to be like, okay, I need to sit down and film these videos. I'm all for going above and beyond, but before you do that, I feel like you need to live in that bare minimum space. You really need to break everything down. Your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your digital products, break everything down. What is the bare minimum I need to do to keep this wheel going, right? For me, planning a video, only one at a time, writing a script or outline, filming the video, editing the video, publishing the video. Those are the very simple steps. Obviously, creating a thumbnail, things like that go all hand in hand with that process. But that is the bare minimum I need to have a YouTube video. And so I need to make sure I can do all of those steps in a week. Bare minimum, right? And truly, I don't need to do more than that. Now, if I have some free time and I want to do more, let's just do another video instead of being like, okay, well, now I should start this whole new workflow and process like Substack or whatnot. And you also don't need to over plan for things in the sense of buying stuff. So for example, with Whatnot, I bought that palette before I was ready. And then I also purchased packaging, a label printer, and lots of other things like packing tape. And I bought all of that so long ago that I invested like over $600 in something that I hadn't even made my money back on or even started to make my money back on. Like, I have a really nice regular printer. I could have just printed the labels with that until I started making money and then invested into a label printer, but I didn't. And so it's things like that. And I'm admitting that same fault, right? Like, I literally I just did all that. So this is fresh for me too. I'm really trying to not give myself an excuse to procrastinate by masking it with preparation or planning. The next thing I want to point out is trying to do everything all at once. So if you are literally just starting out, pick one platform and start creating content. That's all you need to do. And then maybe you can, create a freebie and a digital product. And then that's it. You don't really need to do anything else until you start consistently posting on social media, preferably maybe something like Instagram because it's a little lower lift than a YouTube channel. And just find your way to consistency and then add something. I am pretty sure that I have undiagnosed ADHD. So it's in my nature to try to do everything all at once, right? I want to try Whatnot, Substack. I want my YouTube channel to be taking off. I want Instagram. I want to have my membership. I want to, sell digital products. I want to do it all the time, all at once. Find a platform and a thing you want to do. So a platform and a membership, a platform and a digital product, a platform and coaching calls, and then just focus on all of that because it's already going to take you so much time, especially in the beginning. The next point I want to make is about what you're selling. Big ticket items like courses, for example, they're just dead. I truly believe this. I think your sweet spot as far as digital products are concerned, which includes courses, is less than $100. I would even say $50. People don't have just tons of money to throw away all the time. Your average person, most likely your target audience, does not have these just unlimited funds, and you want things to be accessible to them, and because you're truly wanting to help people, right? And so making sure that all of your products are under $100, I truly believe is so important. A great example of this is Abigail Pugh. She is so great on Instagram. She's very much herself, very casual content, which is so hot right now anyway. That's where we're going in 2026 is casual versus curated. And she's always done that. So it's she was ahead of the curve with that. She just posts herself and her family, her wins and where she was versus where she is now. And it inspires people. And so they want to pay for her products. I've paid for a couple of her products. And you go to her Stan Store link in the bio, and every single one of her products is under $100. And they're all super valuable. You will never buy something from her and be like, wow, what a waste of money. You will buy something from her and have an immediate takeaway and be like, wow, she could have charged more. And that is the feeling that you want for your potential customers. And so just heed the warning. I get it. If you sell one thing that costs $1,000, you're going to hit $100,000 faster, but you're going to have a harder time selling it. Whereas if you have something for even $27 or $47, it might take you longer, but you're going to not only build your relationship with these people to be stronger because they're going to be loyal and trust you and trust what you are offering to them. But then you can expand your library of digital products and offer them other things that will also help them. And then you'll have return customers and also continue building by being consistent on social media. And so in the long run, having the smaller ticket items is going to make you more successful. I think people are just at a point with social media that they're burnt out on spending $1,000 to $2,000 on a course and then realizing, one, it's probably information they've heard before, but also they just don't have the time to sit through a course like that. Also, this is Max. He's our new puppy. He's so cute. Instead of a course that has 10-minute video lessons, 3 or so per module, just do a really long training video that's an hour and a half, and that's almost the same amount of footage and learning, but it's all compact into one. Somebody can very easily say, you know what, instead of watching a movie tonight, I'm going to watch this training versus feeling like they need to do a course over the course of multiple months. So in my opinion, courses are dead, high ticket prices are dead, and you should focus on small, low ticket offers. I feel like we're making it harder for ourselves, right? We're putting obstacles in our way without meaning to and thinking that these things are going to make it better, but really we're just making it harder. So I really want you to stop procrastinating or planning and just do it. So instead of planning content, post content. Instead of talking about creating, create. And on top of that, then also keep things really simple. Focus on one platform, focus on one offering, and just be consistent with that. And then once you're ready to expand beyond that, make sure you're keeping things a low ticket offer because it's going to make it more accessible, and over time it's going to benefit you even more. And if you just really focus on those 3 points, you're going to be just a step closer to hitting that goal. And also, if you haven't already, check out the Digital Cafe. I'm actually interviewing somebody named Katie from Upgrading Katie, where she has been doing what ChatGPT tells her to do for over 130 days and has now also made a business out of it. And she grew her Instagram in those 130 days to 130,000 followers. So she has a lot of information and tips and things she would love to share. And we're going to interview and tell her story in the Digital Cafe in March. So make sure you check it out. It's $25 a month. That's it. Cancel anytime. No hurt feelings. So anyway, check that out, and I will just see you in the next video. Bye.